to test a true yes or no, I need something called Elif, short for else if. I guess typing those two extra letters was just too much work for the creators of Python. But now it allows me to test, is this expression true? And if the answer is no, it will go to the elif and it will say, is this one true? And if it's no, then it will finally go to the else and it will do what's in here. If it gets to the else, it will execute it if nothing else is true. At the point where it encounters an expression that is true, it will skip the rest of this whole block. So this and this should be mutually exclusive, meaning they shouldn't both be able to be true. Because the minute it hits this one, if it's true, it skips. If it hits this, it skips. It will always skip down to the end of the block. So the way that looks in code is what I really want to know is yes or no, elif str like me equals no. Okay. And else would be anything other than a yes or no. So now, if they type yes, it says you like me. If they type no, you don't like me. And if it gets to this point and it's neither a yes nor is it a no, then it says I don't understand. So when I run this, it says, yes, you like me. If I say no, it says you don't like me. If I say monkey, it doesn't understand. Slight problem. If I type yes with a capital Y, uh-oh, I don't understand. If I type space, yes, I don't understand. So now we're getting into like, we've got to do something with that user input that makes it a little bit stronger. So if I really want to clean this up, right, I want to strip that, and then I want to make it lowercase. And that's the nice thing about these string methods is that I can just pop, this is a string, right? The result of input is going to be a string, which means I can use string methods with it. So I can just say dot strip, that which produces a string, and dot lower, which produces a string that's now stripped, lowercase, puts it in here, and does what it's supposed to. So now it understands and it's maybe a little bit gentler, right? But I can type no in all caps and it still understands it in the same way. So, um, so that is, as we're starting to get into these sorts of things, we have to think about what it is we're actually looking for and how we're comparing those things. Because if it's not an exact match, then we got to be careful because we're letting the user enter anything they want to here. This is one of those times when you test on your mom or your grandma or your dad or whatever computer you insert, whatever computer user in your life is maybe a little bit less savvy, where they will instinctively type the thing that breaks your code, unless you have accounted for these things. So that's where you want to start thinking about that. If I am going to do that, or that, I've got to be very careful that I make sure that this isn't actually a string, because if it's a string and I hit this line of code, it's going to break it. So I would have to make sure I convert this to an integer before I get to here, because it will break. So those are all things to think about as you get into this stuff.